Hi, welcome back. If you're seeing us again, then that means we had at least 10 interactions from the first video, which gave us the confidence to build another one. In this series, we're looking at what's the role of a manager in an agile organization. In this particular video today, we're going to be talking about how to create the conditions for your people to thrive. In subsequent videos, we're going to be looking at enabling the flow of value to the customer, and also around being a lifelong learner to develop yourself as a leader.
So where do we start, right? Creating the conditions for your people to thrive. Just the metaphor I like to think of here is an aquarium. An aquarium, we're trying to create the conditions in which the fish can thrive. You know, the right level of nutrient, the right oxygen levels in the water and space, right? So we want to. What's the first thing we could do to create those right conditions in the aquarium? So one of the things we could start with is looking at how do we motivate people. And for this, we can draw on the work of Dan Pink.
So one of the things that I love about this is Dan Pink did a bunch of research and he has a video which is wonderful about the surprising truth around what motivates us. So when we take the subject of money off the table and we have enough money to live, then the things that actually motivate people are not what you expect. And the research he did came up with three main things that actually people respond to, and that is autonomy, mastery, and purpose.
So let's start with purpose. So purpose is what's the leader's role in purpose? And that I think is about creating a strong vision. You know, creating a strong vision that people can enroll in and believe in. So that means you need an important why. Why is that vision important? Why should I get out of bed in the morning in order to work to deliver that vision?
Now you had an example of this. Would you share that one with us?
Oh, yep. So the example was from Tesla. So Tesla, their vision is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Well, that's not about cars. That's the first thing you notice, right? And it's also about the world. So it's something big. And I think there's a pretty strong why message, transition to sustainable energy. We all know that the Earth needs a lot more care than we give it. Sustainable energy is part of that. So it's an important why.
And I love that this now becomes more than just the job, right? I'm no longer focused on the widget production or the thing. I have a reason to be motivated because I feel like I'm contributing something larger than myself. And I love that. It's fantastic. So the next of these is autonomy. So the leader's role here is really to create the space for self-organisation to occur.
And one of the things that will enable autonomy to occur is actually alignment. So here we're sharing the work of Henry Nimberg. We'll talk you through it in a second. But alignment is really about the jobs of the leader for alignment is really about creating clarity of mission. So we talked about the vision, now it's the mission. What's the job we've got to do? In this particular cartoon example, the mission is for the team to get the other side of the water. Clarity of mission is important.
Yeah. So if we take the position on the top left, where we've got high alignment and we have low autonomy, the leader said here, hey, we need to cross the river, go build a bridge. So the behaviour we're seeing here is that the leader is being instructive over what needs to occur without giving the team the space to actually solve the problem themselves. So they don't have the creativity to actually fulfill their own potential. They're only doing what they're told.
And that limits the opportunity to do something maybe a different way, which might be better. The team are closer to the work. Maybe they'll make better choices. So in the bottom right-hand quadrant, we've got this idea of low alignment, but high autonomy. So teams kind of, they're self-organized, they're self-managing about what they do. But the leader's sitting there wondering, I wonder if someone's working the river problem. So, you know, that we need alignment and autonomy. And that might look like at the top right here. So in the top right here, what the leader's saying, hey guys, the mission is we need to get the other side of the river. You go and figure out how. And maybe they just found for this particular problem, the best way to solve it was just inflatable raft, get everyone across. Okay, so we've covered now purpose and autonomy. And I think if you get those two ingredients in place, you're already creating the space for the engagement of your people, and they're naturally going to want to get better at their jobs, mastering the skill or the craft that they do. So what's the leader's role here? So the leader's role really is about growing people and growing capability in the organization. And the best way to do that is through coaching people, not telling people what to do, but actually coach them. Use your expertise when required, mentor the people, but generally you're coaching so people can solve their own problems and develop themselves.
So one of the examples where Steve and I both worked with, we saw this play out, was where a manager had many teams, and he instituted learning time. And this was a Friday afternoon, down tools and spend a couple of hours developing yourself and your skills and pursue the things that you think are of interest to you. This is particularly in a technical environment. And initially this took a little bit of time for people to actually adopt. It didn't happen overnight. There was a little bit of skepticism and a little bit of too busy to stop going on. But the leader created the space and continually reiterated this message about how important it was to pursue this kind of learning. And then slowly people did. And what we saw over time was that there were more innovative solutions and more collaboration across teams as people started working together and sharing the things that they were doing.
Well, that's a great perf story of an example of what you're going to palette as exploration days. People also run things like hackathons, similar things. It's all about learning. So hopefully through this exploration of how a leader can help create the conditions for people for teams to thrive, we might start to see the organization less as a machine of moving parts that interrelate, to actually being a living ecosystem. Pretty much like the aquarium metaphor we gave you at the start.
And I love that metaphor, because a machine, while complicated, has a manual, and you can always read the manual to figure out how to fix it. Organizations are not like that. There's no one true way to fix anything. The only thing you can do is try something. They're complex, so we need to try it, figure out how that went, and then figure out, well, what do we need to do next?
Because organizations are made up of people, and guess what? We're complex.
Yep.
So still to come in this series, we're going to take a look at the leader's role in enabling flow of value to the customer. We're also going to look at leadership development. How do we be lifelong learners and continue to develop ourselves as leaders?
So if you want to see those videos, if you're interested in those topics, be sure to follow us or follow 2% Shift on LinkedIn to get the notification.
All right.
Thanks,
I'm going to do that, Padgett.
That was fun. Cheers.